Hey guys, I am at the airport in Dallas and I woke up this morning, actually last night, to a ton of texts and comments, questions. I posted a little bit here on my page, on my personal page and on my business page about, just, I guess, my frustration with the whole night last night. So anyway, instead of answering everybody's questions individually, I wrote them down and actually made some comments. And I thought I'll just do a quick video. And if you have any questions, I'll do my best to answer. But just like buttholes, everybody's got opinions. So my opinion doesn't matter. Like I said, a lot of people were asking. I don't know why, but for whatever reason, I'll give my 2 cents and we'll just see where this goes. But first of all, several people made comments and or questions wanting to know if it was a hologram, or they said it was straight up a hologram. And that one lady, probably 5 or 6 people said holograms. One lady even said all of Jake's fights are Project Bluebeam and they're all holograms. I was there and it wasn't a hologram. I've actually seen holograms, pretty high-tech holograms. This was actually real people who were walking by us, pretty regular. I took pictures with several of the fighters, saw them touch people, hug people, sign autographs. And I have, like I said, I have the pictures. So, not a hologram. Not anything like the holograms I've seen anyway. So no holograms going on. No, none of that. Some people were saying it was CGI. Again, no. The only CGI that was going on, my husband actually termed coined this phrase. He said, completely generated income. So yeah, that's the CGI that was going on, and the only CGI that I could tell that was going on. There was actually people there again, and it wasn't a fake CGI. So, someone was saying that the actresses and actors and celebrities there were actually dead and cloned and not real, or holograms or CGI. They weren't holograms and they weren't CGI. And they looked very alive to me. So I know that there's some people who still think that there's all kinds of clones and that half of the world is dead and in a clone. We saw a lot of celebrities. We took pictures with them. Mike Epps was there. Amber Rose was there. The Shaq was there. The Karate Kid guys were there. There was a lot of people there. I'm trying to even remember all the people there. And they were not just at the show, or at the, yeah, I guess it was a show. They were not just at the fight, which wasn't a fight. They were at the hotel room. They were walking around the lobby. They were getting pictures and autographs to people. So they were very alive. They were not CGI, although they were CGI, like Brian said, but not CGI in the sense of fake holograms or Project Bluebeam, and they're not dead. They were alive. So there's that. Some people were saying that Tyson's just too old. Lots of comments about how old he is and how out of shape he was in, and that he was like the average 58-year-old. A few people said, well, he's 58. On a biological test, which I don't know if you've ever taken one, but there are tests that you could take that are biological tests to find out what your actual true age is based on all kinds of labs and things like that. Trust me when I tell you, number one, I bet if he took a biological test, he would be nowhere near 58. I'm talking on a science level here, so I'm just saying. And to piggyback on that, I have personally not seen a lot of 58-year-olds look like Tyson. He did not appear old to me. If you saw the weigh-in and you saw even under the clothes. Incredible. No, he does not look 58. And, yeah, that's just insane. So there's that, except for maybe Robert Kennedy. He's actually older, and yeah. Now, as far as everything having to do with being old and not being able to fight because of his age, if you watched any of the pre-shows, he was kicking people's butt. He was throwing punches. He was, in his practicing, he was actually pretty insane. If you've ever seen him fight before, like in the older days, we didn't really see too much because he usually knocked somebody out in the first or second round, so there wasn't a lot going on. But even then, he was pretty amazing. So I don't, should he not be fighting? Who's to say? I don't personally have an opinion on that. If he wanted to do it, then he needed, I guess he needed to do it or wanted to do it. He even said at the end that he might do it again, which I don't even know what he was doing, but it wasn't fighting. That part sucked. The fact that they even called it a fight sucked to me, honestly, because it was not a fight. That's my opinion. Some people were asking about the hidden messages involved because they announced the celebrities as luminaries because they had a hat on there that said "Make America Great Again." I could have missed the messages. I didn't see any messages. A lot of people had put in the comments that this was some sort of shame ritual because because Tyson endorsed Mr. T. Sorry, but Jake also endorsed Mr. T, and they even had a "Make America Great Again" with some of the staff that were wearing the hats. One of the guys in the actual ring was wearing a "Make America Healthy Again" hat during the fight. So why wasn't he shamed? Jake meaning, although it was kind of shameful. The whole thing was shameful a little bit. But kudos to him for setting this up and for making a bunch of money for everybody. I mean, anyway, no, I don't think it was a ritual of shame. My opinion, just my opinion. Especially not because of the whole Trump issue. So, sadly, I don't think this was an actual fight. I think that this was rigged. I think that he made a bunch of money. They both did, making money to not fight. Probably when Jake set this up, he probably talked to Netflix and everybody else and said, hey, we're going to make a lot of money and we're going to get a lot of attention and a lot of hype and a lot of followers. It was going to introduce Mike Tyson to a whole different group of generation of people that never saw his work before and maybe didn't even know him, and now he's more of a household name. And yes, $20 million was on the table, but that's not even counting ticket sales. He has several companies that he endorses and owns and makes money. All of that will get attention and got attention while we were there. They had his branding company there, his little caffeine pouches there. Jake had his water. Like, they were all, showcasing all of their other things that they do. I'm sure they both got major followers on both ends because of all this, which is going to generate money besides the money that they got just from the actual non-fight. That's just my opinion. Lots of money besides the 20 million was on the table. And future stuff, whether good or bad, because all media, good or bad, is attention and makes money. Let's see, what else? Who do I think was the winner? People keep asking. Netflix was the winner here. They got some money. And I'm sure that the other brands that they're supporting also will increase on money and do some different things. So Trump was supporting boxing. They set it up for payback. Someone is saying. Two fighters, their support. Tell me how you think it was a payback, Christy, because I don't follow what you're saying. Payback for what? Let me see if there's any other questions here. Yeah, there is no try, Steve. Only do. I get it. And there was no doing here. I mean, if you consider doing, like actually showing up and standing in the ring and never throwing a punch, doing, I guess if that's what he meant to do, he did that, but he did not fight. We barely saw any actual punches thrown. At least me, I didn't see any. Like a few. On both sides. I don't think Jake was actually super aggressive either. He was doing his thing with as little as that he can get by with, because he was getting paid too. And he probably, I will say, I thought it was kind of respectful at the end, what he was saying about the world and us being in a better place, and giving respect to Mike Tyson. And, he was kind of nice about that. But, I didn't want either of them to lose personally. Someone normally has to. I really think it sucks that Mike lost at the end. It was kind of sad, the whole thing. We were just waiting for something to happen, because literally he would walk, stand, and he would weave. But he wouldn't really take a shot. He took a few shots as far as taking some hits, and he put a couple shots out there, but besides that, there wasn't a fight. And then it was round 2, round 3, and I just kept going, when is this going to start? Like, honestly, they're doing nothing. And then it was halfway through, and then they were still doing nothing, and then it was almost over, and they didn't even do 10 rounds. And then Mike even had said before the actual thing, he said that he wanted to be shorter rounds and shorter time. So it was 2 minutes for 8 rounds instead of 3 minutes for 10 rounds. And his reason for that was because he wanted more action. Tell me where the action was. I missed the action here. Totally missed that. So that's kind of weird. All the hype about him, getting his toes stepped on the day before, and then him slapping, that seemed actually legit. Like, he seemed like he was PO'd. I think that Tyson could destroy anybody if he wanted to. Still to this day. That's just my opinion. Oh, and other people were asking about the leaked document that was supposedly scripted. I'm not saying that it wasn't scripted, but the one that was leaked to me, whatever I was shown, none of it happened. Not a single thing on there. So if it was scripted by what I saw, then I guess that's the wrong script and they didn't follow it or something. Oh, going back to the clone thing, someone's saying that. I'm not saying there aren't any clones. There are clone places, there are clones on the world. But I'm just saying, most of the clones that you guys talk about, not you personally, but what I've heard people talk about is total BS, and they're just effing with you because they're talking about all this like white hat things that are never going to happen, and all these cloning things that are just ridiculous, and that people have masks on in clones and they're not real and they're really dead. And most of these people are actually dead and have no scalar waves. There's not like a replacement or whatever. Yes, there are cloning stations, but again, I think a lot of this is really bad hype, and they just want to keep people really confused. So anyway, so who's the winner? Netflix and I guess all the people who made the money off of this. Would I do it again? Probably. It was a learning experience for sure. We had fun, we hung out, my husband and I got some time away. It was cool seeing a lot of different people. The energy in the hotel across the street from the AT&T room, our stadium, was pretty freaking awesome. And it was just fun. And there's a lot of people, in the stadium that we met. That was really cool. But the overall feeling is when it was over, I've never seen so many people leave so quickly. Like, it was just like everyone was just depressed, upset, kind of in shock and disbelief, like really not sure what was going on. And like everyone got out of there, like boom, they were gone. It was out. And some people left before it was over because they were just so PO'd and disappointed. I will tell you this too, which is just a side note. I'm doing no November, meaning no carbs, like only 15 carbs a day, and no alcohol at all. In a normal case, if I had went to this and or a concert of any kind, I probably would have had a margarita or a glass of wine or two, or I don't know, whatever. I didn't have anything, which was cool, and I did not break my ketosis, which I'm really proud of myself for both of those things. Not just because we were at the event where it was everywhere and I wasn't at home to be able to eat the normal things I eat, but you know, going to restaurants and stuff didn't break my ketosis, stayed in my no November. And to be honest with you, normally when I'm upset like that, I'm not saying it's a good excuse, but I was pretty upset leaving. I was just, it wasn't just upset, it was like, just like, what the, like, bro, what did we just watch? Like, what was that? Like, complete shock. Cancel clear. But anyway, in a normal situation, like, I did think to myself, I'm going back to the hotel bar lobby and I'm getting a glass of wine. That's what I thought. When I got back there, I didn't. I changed my mind and I got a club soda with a little bit of cranberry juice and some lemon and orange in it, which I'm actually really proud of myself that I didn't break ketosis or anything having to do with my no November. Sorry, that's a cart going by. So, learned from that too. But anyway, I would love your feedback, love your questions. If you don't agree with me, I'm fine with that. I'm okay in my self ideas, and my ideas can be changed. These are my opinions right now. Like, I'm open to change things because I've been wrong about a lot of things in my life, and I'm never gonna say that I know everything because I don't. So, but yeah, if you want to see any of the live pictures and some of the things when we were actually there, you can go to my personal page. There's a lot more on there. Anyway, love you. Let me see if there's anybody else asking questions. I'd love your thoughts. What did you think? Did you guys think it was a good fight? I saw that Jake this morning is talking about wanting to fight McGregor now. But McGregor doesn't want to do anything unless they go in the 170 weight category, which Jake said he won't do. There was all kinds of memes and things about Jake fighting Joe Biden. Oh, that was so funny. And then also there was like a claim that he was going to dig up Muhammad Ali from the dead and try to fight him too. So sad. Funny though. It's funny. Hey, Rhonda. What's up, Rhonda? Hey, Steve. What's up? Hey, William. How you doing? Jake would lose regardless, beating. Yeah, you're right, Steve. Regardless, Jake's just... He accomplished what he wanted. He did get some recognition. What I thought was interesting too. I'm not sure if they showed this on Netflix, but after the fight, the announcer went and like talked to a bunch of people like on the record, like live, where you could see it on the big screen, and he just kept asking several times, well, do you think, now that you've seen this, don't you think that Jake's really a serious boxer and not just some YouTube person? He did it like 2 or 3 times, and then his brother even Logan got up and said, well, now you know that my brother's a real fighter and he's not just some YouTube guy, and maybe you'll take him serious. And so the people who were still there were like, oh, so that's what this was about? Like, just to prove that Jake's serious as a fighter because he was in a ring with Mike Tyson, who was probably paid to not hit him. Like, that's my theory. My theory is Mike was presented this idea to get paid, and they were probably like, just come in and don't hit me, and I won't hit you that much. And you could take a few punches, but don't hit me. Or if you do, don't make it really hurt and don't go crazy and restrain yourself. If there's any reward going on here, it would be the reward of restraint for Mike Tyson to not beat his ass, because he could have if he wanted to. That's my opinion. That's my opinion. And it's just an opinion. Anybody else? Steve, largest awareness was yes. All right. Bad pun. Funny. Yes, you're right. It was a celebrity endorsement for Jake Paul to make him look serious, which did it? I mean, yeah, he got a bunch of money, and they're all going to win getting followers and more money and more recognition. The other thing, too, is pre-fight. I forgot to mention this. Pre-fight, they continuously showed Mike's old film record and his previous fights. So there were so many kids and teenagers and young people in there who probably never saw a lick of any of that in their life. I've been following Tyson since I was 18, and he's a legend. So those people now were all introduced to him. That's a win for Tyson. And some other things are going to be obviously a win for Tyson too. So it was, they both got a lot of attention from it. But it's kind of sad, honestly, because in a way it's not really good attention in some ways, because it's like he sold out. But, if it was worth it to him, I've never been in his shoes to know why he did it or what would be, I don't know. Who am I to say what I would do or I wouldn't do for that situation? So I try not to judge. And if that's what he needed to do and he thought that that's going to benefit in the future, then go for it. What I wish would have happened, I wish they would have said, hey, we're going to do this expedition fight. And it's not a real fight. And we just think it's going to be fun. And we want to get a bunch of people together. And we're going to watch Jake and Mike fight. But it's not going to be serious. And we're just going to have an expedition fun fight. And if that had been told up front to everybody, I think there would have been a different expectation and not so much everyone being pissed off and disappointed about the end. Or the middle, or even the beginning. If everyone had just up front said, which I think Mike's last fight, they actually just did an expedition. It wasn't like, I'm going to kill you and, cancel clear. This is going to be a badass fight like we expected. But they just did not disclose that up front, and they should have. But, all right. Yeah, I know. Why are people saying it's CGI? I don't know. Could have done without the check shots in the locker room. Oh, the cheek shots. I didn't see that. I didn't see the cheek shots. I did see when he got weighed in, he grabbed his groin. And I was just like, what is that? But Brian explained to me what that means. I didn't know. I mean, I know it means it's some sort of come and get me. But he had other words of what that meant. And I was just like, oh, okay. Very intimidating. Honestly. But anyway, I hope you enjoyed my commentary on whatever. Nothing serious here at all. Sitting in the airport, just, I guess, processing my own delirium and or shock about the whole situation, because I'm still just sort of numb over it. Honestly, it's upsetting to me, who's followed this guy and loved this guy. So I guess it'll teach me not to be so not to look up to anything or anybody and just go with the flow. There's a lot of lessons here for all of us, so I'll take my lessons and go and reevaluate. But one thing too I had this morning when I woke up, like the curtain was just a little bit open in the room. And when I first woke up, I remember thinking like, okay, where am I? What day? My eyes were still closed, but I was thinking, what day is it? What time is it? Where am I? Because I travel a lot. Anyway, and sometimes I'm like, where am I again? But my eyes were still shut, and it was completely dark. Well, when I opened my eyes, I could see the light coming in from the curtain, and so I immediately shut my eyes. But when I shut my eyes, there was still light, meaning even though I was asleep, even though I was awake and my eyes were shut, I could still see light, and I could feel my body waking up, which is what happens when your eyes see light in the morning, because you start to release the chemicals to wake up. And I heard all the world's a stage, which it is, but it wasn't just referring to the stage of what we saw the night before. It was even referring to the stage of us, inside of us, like curtains open. So I got up, went over and shut the curtain, went back to bed, and I was thinking, okay, well, now that it's dark, I can go back to sleep, because it was still really early and I didn't have any dogs or kids to wake me up. I was like, yay, I can actually sleep. But once I was up, and even though I shut the curtain, I was still in bed and I couldn't go back to sleep, because it seemed light even when I had my eyes shut. And I thought about the spiritual side of the consciousness of the DNA and the tech that we have, of how, like, literally curtains up. The show is on for us, like every day we wake up into this reality or simulation, whatever it is, and it's like curtain call at night and then curtain open in the morning. Once we portal here through birth, it's like, okay, here's the show. So kind of interesting. Yes, I had Jake lag. I love you, Steve. All right, guys. Well, have a good one. I'm going to go back to my gate, but I just wanted to come over and say a bit. But love you. Bye.